Good day, Gappers. Today we're going to talk about Disney, Healthcare Trust of America, and National Retail Properties. Let's dive right in to Disney. As you know, we play the gaps around here. Get a 2-year chart. I already have some lines drawn to help you look at the gaps. Remember, if it gaps up, you put the line at the bottom where it started the gap. If it gaps down, you put at the top to where it has to come back up and fill. And we are talking about candles on the chart that fill the gaps. So let's zoom in here. As you can see this line here, this line, the gap, come all the way over. Looks like it hit and has filled this bottom gap. Up here, it started a gap up and it looks like it came down and filled that gap. But to do so, it created a gap down up here. There's also a gap here that needs to fill. And as you can see, this gap filled, if you go straight across. This gap filled, if you go straight across. This gap up filled, if you go straight across. So as you can see with Disney, it tends to fill gaps. There's one right there. So my money is on them filling any gaps they need to fill going up. Zoom out all the way, zoom in on the last part of the chart. That means we're sitting at 138. We need a trend to take us to fill it at 174. Right now we're going sideways on the MACD, MCAT as I would call it. RSI, Relative Strength Index, is kind of in the middle, and stochastics getting toward the bottom. Watching the volume, not a lot of volume going down, so maybe some earnings coming up soon. I don't know, but with COVID thoroughly behind us, I think Disney is going to experience what Facebook did with its whole sharing of data and getting political. As we all know, Disney's been in the news on the whole alphabet BS. Right now, I think sentiment may be negative and subscriber growth of Disney Plus may slow. A couple news articles out there that people are starting to drop them because of how they're handling that whole situation with DeSantis in Florida. But most people will get past being jaded and continue to stream, especially the more Star Wars stuff coming out with Obi-Wan and some other things that a lot of generations can relate to. Big vacation season coming up. I know there's high inflation and high gas prices, but people booked all their stuff in January before the whole Ukraine and inflation and all that stuff really took off. So I still think people are going to cruise. I still think people are going to go to Disney World, Disneyland. So I don't see this dropping for any sort of reason whatsoever to come back down. As you can see, I did not draw this gap over because it's at 79. I honestly don't think. With the case of COVID that shut down the entire country and world, they went down to 79. It's just going to take another catastrophic event to bring them back down to 79. With Disney Plus going and all the revenue, I don't see it. So I did not draw that going across. If they go down to 87, then load the boat because it's probably going to create gaps down, and that would mean 100% of the gaps on these charts all filled, and there's a good chance they're going to continue to fill. So pretty much a lotto play. I'd drop like 15 grand on that sucker if it ever went down to 87. That's Disney. That's me. I'm not telling you what to do, but I would. Healthcare Trust of America, HTA. They are a REIT, or REIT as they like to call, Real Estate Investment Trust. They pay good dividend. They rose pretty quickly over here on the right, as you can see, because there were some buyout rumors. They were going to sell the company. This one's got some traveling to do coming down. As you can see, they did gap up here and they did fill that gap. And I'm showing you this one just as if you want to short it. If the sale doesn't go through, they do have a gap down here that was not created because of a catastrophic event like COVID. This one was down here in the lower 20s. Is there a chance this sees 25 again after this big spin up on rumors and news and confirmation of, possibly getting bought? I think it could drop if they don't get bought. I think they'll fill that little gap, but they have filled all the other ones. And you can see from 2020, it took almost 2 years to fill this gap. So this is a good example of one that may come down and may actually fill that lower one. I do like HTA. They're a good company. They're just overpriced in my book now. That's a sell the news event. National Retail Properties. This is another REIT. I actually like this REIT. I own this one. They pay a solid dividend. They're a solid company. It's one of the top choices on Seeking Alpha's passive income from dividends, all that jazz. By the way, I'm not endorsing Seeking Alpha. Be very cautious of what you read there and don't make any decisions based on anything that you read from there. But it's a good example of, see some gap downs here, some gap ups that fill. You can see all of these filled. This did not actually hit going up to fill. This little gap here, this gap down, that's created about 51.43. So I love this upswing here. I did buy it somewhere around here. I felt like it was going to continue to go sideways. They kept releasing earnings saying that everything was being paid on time from all the properties. So nothing told me that these guys were going to drop. Plus, I love their dividend. So I do see two smaller gaps here if we're looking at today's play, or not today, but this coming season. They're high up. RSI is good. So you could say these guys are a little overheated right now and they may come back down, especially to come fill this guy, which I'd love to see them come down to about 44 or maybe even this guy and then continue back up. Take a little rest, reset. I would love for this to reset. Anytime it's up here, like at these peaks, like it's building a peak, I don't buy when they're building a peak. Time to buy is down here when you see that separation, it starts to go green, into the green, and your RSI is trending up. Like this is a beautiful play here. See the trends here, you can draw down here if you have Thinkorswim. Look at this trend line. And then look at this trend line. It's a beautiful trend lines. As you can see, it follows up the MCAD. So a good buy down here, a solid green dip. Seeing this kind of trend happening, I would have bought it or bought more and you would have wrote it up. Either way, I like this one. I would like to see it come down and then continue up to the right and go fill this one first at 46 something and then again at 48. I do like this one a lot. If anything, passive income. So that's it for today. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. If this is your first time seeing my videos, you just got gap ties.